week. On this upcoming agenda, there's not a lot of big issues. What's on this agenda that was actually on last week's agenda, but we pulled it off, was some capital equipment for the Public Works Department. And that was put on there. Don't break the microphone. That was put on there for some equipment that will make our crews a little bit more efficient and effective in the work that they do. Last week, about a month ago, we bought a radial arm mower that one operator drives this little tractor, and it's got this arm that reaches out and it cuts the grass along the right-of-ways and the retention ponds, where right now we have several employees, could be 4, 5, 6 employees that are mowing these things with zero-turn mowers, which are certainly better than hand mowers, but a lot more efficiency when we get this radial arm mower to do it. But then we've got a couple of other items that are going to be purchased on this next coming agenda. Things like a ground-penetrating radar unit that will help our crews to locate pipes underground when they're doing their digging. That'll certainly be more efficient. And another front end, like a skid loader, that's going to help these guys do their job. So we're spending some money. In total, tonight's next week's agenda item is going to have about $350,000 worth of equipment. It's a lot of money, but I think in the long run we're going to be more effective and more efficient in the work that we're doing out of the Public Works Department, for sure.
Yeah, working smarter, not harder. It's a good thing.
Exactly. And then you got the list there, Mayor. What else we got on the agenda next week?
Our solid waste contract is coming up.
That's unfortunately, it's a necessary evil. We have to have solid waste, and in our contract there are cost increases that go along with the contract. So we have a cost of living increase that's going to be attached to that. And more importantly, they have a fuel increase, which is a bigger number. It's approximately 7%. So unfortunately, with the way the economy has been lately and the rise in fuel, we're going to have that increase in our solid waste rates. And that does get pushed onto the customer, so the residents will see an increase in their solid waste bill come October.
Yeah, there's also good news. We got notice last week that there's a grant for our police department for about $120,000 to help us mitigate some future flood damages. Yeah,
that was down in the police department on the north side of the building. When we get these bad storms and these hurricanes, we get some water infiltration into the building. It kind of low level floods when I say flood, it doesn't like knee deep flood, but you get an inch or two of water that gets into the chief's office and the investigator's office. And we've got some ideas on how to mitigate that by pulling the dirt away from the side of the building, coating the building, putting in drainage pipes, and try and get that water redirected away from the building. Now, that's a coquina building. That rock is porous. So things do get through that rock, whether it's through the porousness of the rock or cracks in any of the grout lines that are in there. So this was a long, hard struggle that our public works staff and our finance staff have been working on for the last couple of years to try to get FEMA money or grant money to go ahead and work on that improvement. So we were awarded a grant last week. So that's good news.
That's good. Yeah, so we've got the Ross Point Pier redesign coming before us next week.
Yeah, that's another big project that was damaged several times over the last couple of hurricanes. We get these abandoned sailboats that are anywhere within the intercoastal area near Holly Hill, and the way the winds blow, these sailboats that are anchored, the anchors break, they become detached, they become these floating little piles of debris creators. And the wind blows them from the east to the west, so they come across the intercoastal and they land on the mainland side, and they either hit the shore or they hit a pier or a dock. And in this case, last storm, we lost a good section of the riverfront park down at 2nd Street next to Marina Grand, which we were able to have that repaired through some FEMA reimbursements. And then the one at Ross Point Park that did not receive FEMA reimbursement for a long list of bureaucratic reasons why not. So we're in the process of applying for an ECHO grant to the tune of about $1 million to be matched by the city. And then in addition to that, we're going to be looking at a FIND grant, which is Florida Inland Navigation District, and see if we can get some money out of that grant program to rebuild that pier. And we're going to change it up a little bit. The current pier went out about 300 or so feet, and then it took a right turn to the south a little bit, and there was a little pavilion on it. Well, this one's going to be a little less further out. It might be 250 feet. And instead of it just going to the right, it's going to go north and south, and there's going to be 3 pavilions on it. And it's kind of designed more for an observation pier rather than a fishing pier. People want to fish, they typically go off the Sunrise Park Pier because that goes way out. Better chances of getting some good fish out of that location. So this one's going to be more of an observation pier. It's going to look great. It's going to be ADA oh my gosh.
Compliant.
Thank you. We'll go with compliant.
Accessible?
Accessible. Yes. One of those.
Yeah, you know, there's no better place to watch a rocket launch than into that pier. You know, you talked about sailboats breaking loose, and I was just up at Sunrise Park this weekend, and there was a sunken vessel at Sunrise Park that's been recently removed, but yet again, a derelict sailboat has made its way next to our park, and many people were asking me this weekend, hey, how long are you going to let that thing sit there? And I tried to explain to them the process of getting those derelict vehicles removed, and that Daytona Beach has a contract in our area. And you want to explain a little bit about that, Joe, how that process actually works?
Sure. Daytona does have a contract, but in this particular case, we are working directly with Florida Fish and Wildlife to assist us in getting that removed. And there's a process. It takes time. We have identified the owners. The owners aren't going to do anything about it, so basically it's an abandoned boat. It's very close to, and depending upon the tide, a high tide coming in may push that boat up against our seawall that we put out there not too long ago. It's fairly new. But for the most part, it's leaning south. It's leaning away from the seawall. So this has been turned over to Florida Fish and Wildlife, and they're putting it through their process, and it has to go through their budgeting. So we're kind of at the mercy of whatever they can do for us, and we certainly do appreciate all that they do. And they are working on this. So I anticipate that hopefully the next month or two, that'll be removed.
Yeah. Good. So there's one more thing coming up on our agenda that we probably should talk about. It's the stormwater. And we have a stormwater fee in our city, which currently is $96 a year, I think. And it's on your, it's a non-ad valorem collection on your property tax bill. But we're proposing to increase that to $99 going forward, just because, you know, we do have, as well as every municipality on the east coast of Florida, everyone's concerned about storms and storm water. And so the projects are expensive, more expensive than ever. And we have to have some way to, even though we've been successful in some grants, we are running low on the ability to match some of these grants. So we just want to make sure we're not in a situation where we could have a grant and not be able to fund the matching part of that grant. You want to add anything to that, Joe?
Sure. You know, we are going to increase that fee from $96 to $99. And that's kind of also keeping up with the Joneses. It's in an area where most of the other cities are. Some are a little higher, some might be a little lower. But that fee goes towards the operation of the Stormwater Enterprise Fund, the employees that operate that. And that's cleaning the catch basins, doing the mowing around ponds, projects, capital projects. So you're right in that we've started to deplete our reserves in the Stormwater Fund because we've been fortunate enough to get some grants, especially through Volusia County and Transform 386. So one of those projects is and I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but we've got another stormwater study that's going to be completed hopefully by, we'll call it the first quarter of 2027 next year. And then we also have $6 million in stormwater pipelining. And that's important because our stormwater pipes that are in the ground that transport the water from the roads into the catch basins, into these pipes, and eventually out toward the river or other retention ponds. They're in the ground and they're in the water table. So when our water table comes up, if there's cracks or breaks or damage to those stormwater pipes, those pipes are filled with groundwater, and all that does is back our system up. So doing this stormwater piping project will hopefully help to reduce that infiltration that we have and provide more capacity for stormwater to make its way out of the neighborhoods, out of the homes, out of the streets, and into the ponds and into the intercoastal where it belongs.
Great. So we've got some events coming up soon. You want to talk about some of the events that we got coming up?
Yeah, we got quite a few things. Well, let's start out with what I think is one of the more important ones, and it's actually coming up in October, and that's our 125th block party, and that's in celebration of the city's 125th anniversary of being a city, a municipality in the state of Florida. So this is going to take place at Riverside Park on October 10th from 4 to 8:30. We'll have things like a live DJ. We're going to have a concert with a band called the Be Naturals. And we're going to have, for the first time in Holly Hill, a drone show. And the drone show is going to start at about 8 o'clock, right at the end of the concert. There'll be games and things for children, for the kids to do. There'll be pumpkin painting and cornhole and hula hoops and some other art. We're going to have some beer and wine booths. We're going to have a lemonade stand. We're going to have food trucks. It's going to be a pretty exciting day, a full day. But something else that's going to happen on that day is the Historic Society is going to unveil and open up the time capsule. And this time capsule is been placed in the gazebo that's over in Hollyland Park where Pictona is. It's been placed in there for many years. I was here when we opened it up and put new items in there 25 years ago for our 100th anniversary. So the folks over at the Historic Society are going to open that up, and they're going to put the items that are in there out on display inside the Historic Society, which is located inside of Sika Hall.
Yeah, it's going to be an action-packed day, and it's exciting. Do you remember how many drones are going to be in that show? I don't,
A couple hundred.
Hundreds, right?
Yeah, a couple hundred. And it's going to be about a 20-minute show. And we were debating between a fireworks show and a drone show. So we decided to go with the drone show because it's new, it's innovative. Not many people are doing it yet, but I think it's going to become more common in the future. So it'll be exciting, and you should be able to see that from anywhere along Riverside Drive as they'll display these things. They'll take off from Sunrise Park South, and they'll do their performance over the intercoastal. And
so we're going to actually close off part of Riverside Drive for people to park, and then people can always park at Sika Hall or City Hall, and it's a 1.5 block walk to the river, right?
Yeah, for the most part, Sunrise Park North will be parking for ADA accessibility. Everybody else will be able to park along Riverside Drive. And like you said, overflow parking over at the YMCA, Boys and Girls Club parking, Sika Hall, City Hall, and just take a short walk down to the park and get to participate in all of these things.
Yeah. Okay, and so the Historic Society has something else coming up here, I think this week, right?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, tomorrow night. Tomorrow's June 16th, and at 6 p.m., they're going to have an evening with David Hardgrove. And he is the conservation chair for the Halifax River Audubon Society since 1987. So he's going to be talking about his books. He's a well-known author. He's a hardcore birder. He does bird breeding. He's part of the Mainland Highbird Biology. He's a Highbird Biology teacher, Space Coast Birding and Wildlife Festival in Brevard County leader. So he seems to be pretty involved, and he looks, and if looks can tell you anything, he looks like he's going to be a pretty good speaker for tomorrow night at the Historic Society, and that again is located at Sika Hall, right behind City of Holly Hills City Hall.
What time is that, Joe? Does
That's
it
at
say?
6 p.m.
Okay.
And generally, there's some light refreshments. They'll do raffles. The presentation itself is free. And they have a pretty good turnout over there for each one of these events. So we're really excited of what the folks over at the Historic Society are doing.
You know, I think it's supposed to be light refreshments, but Carolyn Glass is in charge of that. And I think it's almost a full-blown meal now. She is quite the cook.
She does a fabulous job. Carolyn and her daughter and her granddaughter and several other folks, they bring covered dish items, and they do a fantastic job. So come listen to a great speaker, have a few bites to eat, maybe you win a raffle, and have a good time tomorrow night. Then we can follow up on some of the other things that happen weekly here in the city of Holly Hill, and that's our Sunday Farmers Market. And that happens every Sunday at 9 o'clock. It runs from 9 to 2. And it's over at Sunrise Park, and they have it's a small farmers market, Riverside Market they call it. You go there every Sunday, so
Yeah,
what do they have?
It's more of an artisan market. They're trying to change it. When they started, they had a fantastic produce vendor, and unfortunately, he retired, and so they've lost their major produce vendor, and the people that run it have done their best. They've tried to go and buy produce and bring it, but they're ending up with a lot left over because they don't have anywhere to dispense it after Sunday. So they've kind of taken a turn away from that, and I would say it's artisan. So we were there yesterday, and there was someone doing some wood carvings. There was someone with the tie-dye shirts, some homemade baked goods, sourdough bread. There was a lady with pickles and fresh jellies and jams. There was an an author there selling her books, and also something that's new that I didn't really know what it is, a dirty soda. And so I didn't know what a dirty soda was, but it was explained to me. It's kind of like you get a soda, whether it's a Coke or a Sprite, and then you can put some flavoring in it. If you imagine what a root beer float is, but you didn't have the ice cream, kind of has that some flavor like that. So we got some iced coffee there, and the ladies that run the market are concerned with the heat for the summer, and so they're talking about possibly maybe making it an evening event. You know, more to come on that hopefully in the future when we work out all the details. But just concerned for it's hot. You know,
Yeah.
It's really hot out there.
It's not a bad idea because as the sun goes down, you get a little bit more of that temperature drop. But you know what we've noticed lately is there's a lot more people going into Sunrise Park later in the afternoon, and those additional people might bring more commerce to those folks that are the vendors out there. At the
Yeah,
market.
it's that, you know, the city we put our money where our mouth is on that park. The previous commission decided that, hey, let's make that park the best it can be, and I would put that playground up against any other playground in the state of Florida. It's the pirate ship design. The kids love it. We don't have mulch. We have that rubber. I don't know what it's exactly called, but it's a fall. You fall on it. It's very cushy. Your kids don't come home with mulch in their socks and in their shoes. And I've never been to the park when there's less than 5 kids on that playground.
Yeah, it is a very popular park, and the city has put a lot of money into it over the last couple of years. Between that playground that's shaped like a pirate ship, we completed the seawall repairs, we fixed the dock, we put in irrigation, we have new landscaping out front, there's new sod down, we still have the fitness court that's out there, and I know the fitness court is in need of some repairs, and we've got that equipment in, and it's just a matter of getting it put back on so that can be utilized again.
You know, we've also got the walking path. So when you walk around, we're highlighting different authors. So the author that's being spotlighted there this quarter, it's about a dolphin that they found, an injured dolphin that they find, and they nurse it back to health and return it back to its mother. But you walk around and there's different stations, and you can do activity with your children or grandchildren and read the book along the path. And so it's really good. That's a partnership between the Early Learning Coalition and Fast Signs provided a lot of the signage there for us at no cost. So it's a great partnership between local community agencies to bring something great for our citizens.
It is. It's a wonderful park, and those reading stations are fantastic. I like to see the parents or the grandparents walking with the children and stopping and reading those different sections of the book. It's fantastic. Another thing that's coming up, which is something for the community, on July 1st we have, again, this will be at Sika Hall, and this is, we call it the Financial Literacy Program, and our instructor will be Monica Tucker. She's with Main Street Community Bank. This is something that Becky Liggett has put on for us. It's the 9th topic in the series that they're working on, and this one is called Consequences of Noncompliance. And she goes over a lot of different aspects of financial literacy, everything from how to balance a checkbook to how to take into consideration loans. So this one, Consequences of Noncompliance, I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be, but it certainly sounds interesting because I don't know what the consequences are of being non-compliant, but I don't want to be there.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like a good thing, but I think you and I are really showing our age here, Joe, because you said checkbook.
Yeah.
I don't think my kids have a checkbook.
They may not. I still do. I do.
I balance mine to the penny every month, but my kids,
I do.
Everything is ePay and
Right.
PayPal and Venmo, and
that might be part of the problem.
Yeah.
At least I know I balance my checkbook every Monday night. I do bills, and I make sure that my accounts are all balanced out properly and there's no mistakes. When you start swiping that card at the end of the month, if you don't keep track of your receipts, you don't know where that money is
I know
going.
it's crazy.
But like you said, it's not my generation.
Yeah, so it's hard to believe the kids just got out of school, and I think we're going to talk about school supplies and school starting back already.
That's right. We're already talking about it. So between June 22nd and July 31st, the Holly Hill Police Department is doing its 9th annual school supply drive. And you can drop your school supplies off at these locations: at the Holly Hill Police Department, at Holly Hill City Hall, at Clark's Family Auto at 950 Ridgewood Avenue, Fraz's Scratch Kitchen at 1008 Ridgewood Avenue, at Pictona of Holly Hill at 1060 Ridgewood Avenue, at Main Street Community Bank at 1812 Ridgewood, and at Soul Coffee at 1563 North Nova. They are in the Winn-Dixie Plaza. And they need all kinds of school supplies, everything from paper to markers to crayons, glue sticks, pencils, binders, tissues, hand sanitizers, all the kind of things that the students and the teachers might need to get the school year started.
Yeah, that's great. And one thing, I don't think it's on the list, but I'm sure they would accept gift cards, a Walmart gift card or Staples gift card or Office Depot gift card, because often, we talk about our age, the school has changed. We might think what the kids need, and the teachers may need something else. So a lot of their learning is now on iPads and laptops and stuff where we had textbooks. So I'm sure they would take gift cards if anyone wants to donate some gift cards also.
Yeah. So it's a great opportunity that if you've got some extra school supplies, and the stores, they're selling everything on sale and buy one, get one free. So go to your big box store or your local drugstore. They have all kinds of school supplies that are available.
I don't have my...
Amazon delivers.
Amazon. I don't have my phone on, so I don't know what time it is, but I think we're getting the hook.
You're getting hooked. We're so busy today.
We came in early, and then we came in late, and I thought we were going to 11, so we're good.
We are not going to 11, man, but you can talk today about so many interesting things.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
All right.
Goodbye and tell them you'll see them
Well,
again.
Yes.
We'll
Well, Mayor, I'm good. We had another great morning, and I'll
Yes.
see you. I'll see you in a few minutes, but I'll see you here back at the station in a month.
Yeah, next month.